So raising my own standards or my internal set point of values and the experiences that I would most prefer to have more stably in my life. Recognizing that it's our beliefs which then filter our perceptions, which then have a causative effect on the behaviors and the circumstances and situations that surround us. So whether I'm consciously believing or unconsciously believing that I'm not deserving or not enough or not lovable, and so it is that I project that into the field, the vibratory field, the energetic field, and it's reflected back in some form or another. Not necessarily in a relationship, it could come back in, not getting paid very much or not getting respected or, having no connections or deep friendships. It's like our internal set point, our perception that we look out from is what we project onto the screen of experience, and this is what gets reflected back. So Carl Jung invited us to turn in this journey of individuation and to do our own shadow work, to do our own rebalancing of the masculine and feminine, to come to a state of soulful harmony and integration inside ourselves, to work with our inner mythology, our inner soul energy. And when we're in touch with this soul light, this heart fire, we could say that we are living at the most intimate space of our value, our worth, our empowerment, our pure energy, our essence, our being. And from this state of being, it's not a question of knowing your worth, it's being your worth. It's not the question of chasing abundance, it's being abundant. It's being power, it's being love. Like you've closed all the gaps between you and it, between the ideology, the fantasy, the wish fulfillment. You've closed the gaps. You've collapsed the questions. You've ended the search because you've arrived back into that which was already here yourself, in fullness, in wholeness, in completeness. And as we turn our attention back in, we travel through the different layers of self and we can see all the resistance, all the limitation, all the beliefs that have been holding us back, all the behaviors we've been busy with, which have been essentially pushing other people away, pushing their life away, blocking the flow of our existence. And we can gradually or quickly undo these thought forms, these beliefs, these patterns, these energy fields, as we start to deepen into our essence. And the meditation traditionally has been this practice of turning in. You stop the world, you bring your senses back to self, you breathe in, breathe out, follow a mantra, travel back into the pure light of being, and you rest and remain there, and stabilize this, maintain this, establish this realization as your foundation. Then when you open your eyes, you enter a state of waking meditation. You bring this light from deep inside, up and out through the different layers into the world of expression, relationship, creation and circumstance. So it's absolutely connected from your inside to outside until there's no distinguishing between who you are on the inside and who you are on the outside. It's one and the same. And that's what's considered to be authenticity. So what I'm sharing here about this internal setting, if you like, it really has a huge impact on everything, who we believe ourselves to be, who we've been conditioned to be, or hypnotized, or seduced into being, or cultured into being. Essentially, our state has been regulated a lot by external forces. The religion, the philosophy, the culture, the politics, our families, our friends, social media. And with a repetition, like forceful repetition, again and again, that these are the values, this is the system you will believe in, these are the behaviors you'll do, these are the laws you'll follow. You're boxed into this kind of very limited space, which you've learned to define as your personality. But it is an illusion. It's put together, it's constructed, and it's only held together by force and belief and repetition and habit, and by the mirroring of everybody else around who's chosen to live from that set point of limited personality. Now, there are rare individuals who've deepened into their meditation, artists who've freed themselves from the constraints of the modern world and the internal matrix of conditioning. The pioneers, the revolutionaries, the evolutionaries, the researchers, the adventurers, people who've stepped out of the norm, stretched the boundaries, checked in with themselves, what is possible, living inside of that question as opposed to what is predictable. And living with that one question, what is possible, and then reflecting inward and releasing the limitations, we start to get more and more in touch with the sublime light of presence. You could call it our heart, our truth. And it doesn't need beliefs to sustain itself. It doesn't need conditions. It doesn't need interpretations, expectations, values, standards. It is as it is, the radiant light of pure being. And we are this. We've always been this. And on top of this, we wear masks and costumes and do some version of theatre because we've trained ourselves to believe that we've got to behave this way to get love or attention or respect or likability or a job or to acceptance, to belong. And it's all disassociation. We've cut off from our essence that knows ourselves to be loved, to be home, to be beautiful and wonderful and truthful and wise and naturally joyful without any effort. Our state of isness. And it's always already the case. It's always here. Always has been here. It's us. It's our foundation. And this is why it's called realization. We realize it with real eyes. We see, feel, know, sense, taste, understand, comprehend, wake up to this primordial essence of self, self-awareness, self-presence, self-love, self as love. And this becomes our new set point as we establish ourselves as this. And from here we breathe in as light and we breathe out as light. And this light of pure consciousness and pure energy has such a creative potency to it, such a delightful, expressive reality to it. It's so full of all the intelligence and all the wisdom and love and beauty of life herself. And we are this. So the question is, are you willing to turn in, to recognize the limitations that you've been living in and with? Are you willing to face the construct of the personality that you and others have put together? Are you willing to face the expectations and standards and values that you've been living for, which have really been a disguised behavioral strategy in an attempt to get love and recognition and some kind of placement? As we do this work, you can say work in a very soft way. It's not hard work, it's the work of awareness. It's the work of awakening. surrender, releasing, coming back to what's natural, what's truthful. We start to remind others to be truthful, to live an unmasked life, to live more from the heart. Not even more from the heart, to be the heart. To recognize this is us. It's not all fireworks and glowing lights and auras and superpowers. It's naturalness of being. I am myself, and I express from this deep place of knowing, feeling, being. So I'm honest in my essence and honest in my expression. I'm unwilling to play the mask game, the costume dance, the performance on the stage for anyone or anything, because I've already recognized it does not give me truth. That sense of belonging that you temporarily get when you have a moment of likability or validation or acceptance, when you've been getting that through wearing a mask, is only sustained as long as you wear the mask. And you live your life with this whole efforting process of trying to maintain a personality because it won you some attention. But that attention is worth nothing because it's only held together from a false mask. It's not real attention. It's not the attention of, I see you, I know you, I recognize you, I resonate with you because I've realized this depth of love and presence in myself. And that doesn't need a song and a dance and a performance and a mask and a costume. It's just very simple. Presence meets presence, life meets life, and there's more aliveness everywhere.